Mewgenics, the brainchild of Edmund McMillan and Tyler Glale, the developers of critically acclaimed games The Binding of Isaac and The End is Nigh, is an incredibly complex roguelite game. Part management sim where you breed cats in a home, and part turn-based tactical RPG where cats battle hordes of enemies. It might just be one of the best games in the genre I've played in recent years, owing to its unparalleled depth. Its whimsical representation is like a fever dream come to life, and each playthrough has you praying to the RNG gods knowing that it's likely a fruitless endeavor. But when the stars align, there's some real magic on show. Mewgenics' core gameplay loop involves managing your ever-growing clouder of cats before sending a team of up to 4 felines to go on an adventure across multiple zones. Each zone is filled with events, random rewards, battles, and boss fights. Combat, meanwhile, is a turn-based affair taking place on isometric, tile-based maps, much like Final Fantasy Tactics and various games in the genre. Once the day has ended, any cats that survive the adventure are considered retired, and you're no longer allowed to bring them on future runs. Thus, you have to rely on new characters in succeeding days. This is where Mewgenics' breeding system comes into play. Your new characters are the offspring of your previous party members. Think of Mewgenics' breeding mechanics as akin to Fallout Shelter meets Pokemon, but with cats. Your home consists of a single room at first. You have to donate cats to NPCs by sending them through a sewer pipeline. From there, you upgrade their functions to buy more rooms, along with furniture and fixtures that provide boons. These unlocks and upgrades for your home are permanently retained across multiple runs. Conditions like overall comfort, health, relationships, and sexual orientations play significant roles in the mating game as well. A male and female cat might be partners already, but a rival might show up, leading to a fight where one of them might perish. At times, they might try to get it on, only to be rebuffed with hilarious results. Cat collars, meanwhile, grant access to classes and their respective abilities. You've got RPG staples for your feline explorers, from a tank that can bear the brunt of the damage to a hunter that snipes enemies from afar. As you progress to new accent zones, you unlock more options, such as the Butcher, complete with a hook that can reel in foes and a penchant for fresh meat. There's also the Jester, who can randomly roll the abilities of any archetype, making it perfect for multi-classing. On their own, each class already fulfills a distinct role in your party. However, Mewgenics' breeding system, along with multi-classing, is where the game truly shines. That's because cats may pass their attributes and skills to their offspring, which means kittens could be born with nifty abilities right from the get-go. By the same token, mutations and disorders, with their own boons and penalties, also add new strategic layers. Soon you'll see cats with sharper claws, larger heads or extra heads, thicker fur, rat tails, and porcupine quills. I was initially overwhelmed by all of these intricacies and felt lost in the first few hours of playing. It was a confusing balancing act at first. Which cats do I level up? Which cats do I donate for upgrades? Then, once I got past that hump, I was eager to min-max the ideal cat characters with high stats and powerful abilities. By hour 10, I was tracing the lineages of kittens to their ancestors. By hour 15, I had a spreadsheet outlining which characters ought to mate and which abilities to inherit. Then, by hour 20, I had settled into a comfortable routine of picking top-tier options and breeding those with mutations so I could unlock upgrades, fully embracing the chaos and the incessant meowing in the background. Mewgenics encourages you to experiment with hybrid class builds, interesting team compositions, and synergistic setups. In fact, one of the most memorable runs I had involved the Necromancer and the Butcher, classes with passive skills that spawned familiars. Due to the synergy among equipment, which turned food pickups into critters, my party kept spawning swarms of flies and leeches that nibbled at my opponents each turn. The possibilities feel endless, leading to more exciting and refreshing playthroughs. Although Mewgenics can overwhelm you with a high degree of complexity early on, this confusion gradually gives way to an appreciation of the many strategic layers cleverly constructed amongst the chaos. The randomness in some ways adds to the fun and levity too. You can have a cat with amazing stats, skills, and mutations, only to notice that they're also inbred and a disorder causes them to remain eternally a kitten that can never pass on their traits. Just as well, there were moments when the game tugged at my heartstrings, such as when cats who previously carried my team through multiple encounters died of old age. Disorders and conditions, though disheartening to see when your favorite characters are afflicted by them, are treated with over-the-top silliness and irreverent humor in keeping with the theme. For instance, someone with the scatological trait automatically moves to eat the nearest poop they see. Another with schizophrenia spawns a hallucination that only targets them, while those with triskaidekaphobia automatically die and have their bodies destroyed upon casting their 13th spell. That being said, my gripe with the breeding system is that the information about your cats is sorely lacking at the start of the game. Instead, you have to send litters of kittens over to an NPC who gradually reveal your pets' likes, dislikes, sexual orientation, if they're inbred or not, and even a means of adding icons to make them easier to spot. I genuinely thought that I was doing something wrong because some of my cats kept fighting or weren't mating with partners. Turned out that certain traits were hidden all along. With breeding as an integral mechanic, having bare-bones information for the first few hours was exasperating. The user interface also makes it hard to keep track of all your pets once you have 30 or more of them acting like they have the zoomies 24/7. Your chosen band of adventurers face off against all sorts of creatures. Enemy variety is exceptional, as you've got everything from giant blobs, mad scientists, assassins, and aliens to carnivorous plants, cultists, dinosaurs, fascist robots, and every trope imaginable. Boss encounters in Mewgenics are also uniquely designed and require meticulous planning. For instance, a Desperado-esque boss named Zodiac shoots anything that moves. You have to seek cover and wait for his ammo to run out. Meanwhile, a failed experiment, the Stacy clone, has you selecting the buffs that it receives prior to the bout. You can give it elemental damage, bonus attacks, extra defense, and all sorts of boons. If you decline to do so, your characters will get injured or worse. Major battles tend to occur outside your home, too. House bosses like Gilantina invade your humble abode every few days, presenting a higher degree of difficulty. At a certain stage, I actually had to fend off 2 kaijus that were mauling each other. Mewgenics' 3 acts, including sub-branches and the zones you unlock after completing house boss quests, are massive and interconnected. On average, my successful clears for each act took anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. Several failed runs lasted just as long as I tasted soul-crushing defeat near the end. Given that Mewgenics is a roguelite, I still got to keep some items after losing my cat squads, but progression is daunting to say the least. On a positive note, every full completion yields class-specific legendary skills and items as rewards. The system further incentivized me to bring different classes all the way to the end, no matter how challenging it might seem. Figuring out how to overcome these challenges by thoroughly experimenting with my squad's composition is part of Mewgenics' charm, as is finding out that significantly tougher tests await. If you are a completionist or a sucker for punishment like I am, you'll be thrilled at the prospect of discovering every secret the game has to offer. Mewgenics does have some glaring flaws. One issue that isn't as obvious at first glance is the sheer number of ways that randomness can make or break your run. Random results are expected in roguelike games, but like its presentation and humor, Mewgenics goes a little too over the top at times. Each class has a huge selection pool of roughly 70 skills. 4 are offered each time a character levels up, and you can only pick 1. Reroll options are minimal. The perfect class that took you a while to breed might keep getting lackluster abilities and passives over the course of your run, and it's unlikely that you'll want their offspring to inherit these. A lack of info is also disruptive when it comes to items. I wasn't aware that item set bonuses exist until several hours into the campaign because the game doesn't tell you if certain items are part of sets. You'll just stumble upon them by accident if you happen to equip the correct gear. This is compounded by the fact that inventory space is limited, as numerous specific cat donations are required to increase slot upgrades too. Be that as it may, Mewgenics still manages to offer a captivating and fascinating experience. Whether you're trying to breed the best hybrid classes or hoping to unlock the next zone and legendary reward, or you're just humming catchy songs that are stuck on a loop in your head, this is a game that you can play non-stop for hours on end through trials and triumphs. What Macmillan and Glale and co. pulled off is simply awesome. It's catnip for roguelites in all its glory as you keep going through runs and coming back for more.